John M. Gilbertson here with Tap Milwaukee, and I'm here with Ian and Brittany of Delta Rae out of North Carolina. Is that correct?
That's right.
And it's first thing I want to ask about is that you've got, let's see, it's two brothers, one sister in the band.
Uh-huh.
I mean, how does that work? I mean, how does that set up in terms of, like, you know, band dynamics? Because I mean, bands in general don't, you know, always just, it's not you know, everybody singing Kumbaya. So I mean, what's
the Oasis effect?
Oh, well, I've interviewed at least one of them, so.
Yeah. No, you know, I think my siblings and I are intense people, and we care about what we're doing in the band a lot. So I mean, we argue, and I think we set the tone of both being passionate about what we're doing and also you know, loving each other, and at the end of the day, resolving stuff. I mean, that's, you know, we're not above fighting, but we're also
no.
douse those flames.
You figure it's not just going to explode one day. It's
no,
like,
it's
know.
sort of like we always know we're going to come back to the table. The fighting just sort of relieves tension, and also I think shows that we care, and we're ultimately stronger for it. But for the most part, we get along. We fight once in a while.
It's
but
funny because we actually lived together for the first 2 years of being a band, and so, you know, we sort of tightened the screws even more in terms of, you know,
like, if we were going to kill each other, it would have already happened. So we're in the
yeah, I understand that, like, those first couple of years are really where you realize, like, can we do this? Any band will realize that when you're in a band.
Absolutely.
You find out pretty quickly, you know, who's not washing his socks. You know.
Luckily, our parents taught us very good laundering habits.
We won't air that dirty laundry here today.
Now, the question, I mean, I'd read a little bit about this, but I wanted a bit more detail from your side. Now, you played for Seymour Stein, who, of course, legendary. I mean, a guy who helped sign the Ramones, the Replacements, obviously a guy with a bit of a golden ear, and you know, kind of a young, be able to, you know, keep on. Now, how did that happen? Now, you played for him in New York?
In New York, and you know, I think it was as surreal for us as it is in the telling. I mean, you know, we got into his office through a very obscure connection. Our manager, who was a friend of mine from college, reached out to a doctor in Durham who is treating Seymour's daughter, and so
and was treating our manager at the time.
Right, and then so Seymour you know, took us into his office as a favor to this doctor, and it was you know, he had very low expectations, he revealed later. And we started singing, and within like 10 seconds he interrupted us and was like, you know, stop, and we thought we'd blown it, and, you know, we're having our Simon Cowell moment.
Right.
But he called a couple more people in, and he just said, "You've got to hear this is so beautiful," and we played for 45 minutes. He kept asking for more songs, and he would reference every song that we played. He'd reference, you know, this reminds me of a Moon Milliken song, this reminds me of you know, just he's encyclopedic about his knowledge of singers and songwriters, and it was, I mean, it was incredible. And you know, the next day I went home and looked up everybody that he'd mentioned, and, you know, sort of got an education. But he's an unbelievable, he's a force of nature, and he's just been so supportive and such a, you know, shepherd for us through this whole major label thing, and been such a fan of the music. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, he's really just supported what we're doing and bolstered.
Well, judging from what I've gotten from the label, I mean, it seems like, you know, that his enthusiasm seems to be contagious. I mean, you've already done some television. Yes, we
were on Jay Leno last week or week before.
Yep, week and a half ago.
Yeah, I mean, so it's already started to build. I mean, the album just came out June 19th.
Right.
I mean, you know, so debut album is already out. I mean, but how's that? You know, how's it building live? I mean, how much touring? I mean, how far in advance of the album were you touring?
We've been touring for years, just sort of in stints. This is our third cross-country tour that we're on right now.
Uh-huh.
But it has been steadily building, and I think that we recognized early on that if people saw the live show, they would get it. As it's hard when you describe, you know, we've got 4 lead singers and 3 siblings and 6 people total, and there are trash cans, and like the sound is pretty much everything mashed into one, and we hope you like it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to describe that, but when you see us live, it clicks. So we knew that, and we were able to tour because we had flexible jobs or didn't have jobs at all. And now that we're really hitting it hard with the album, I think we'll be touring for the next year, sort of nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really was born out of not knowing what else to do. I mean, when you start a band, it's like, what do you do to get people's attention and to get better? And I think we just leaned on the road from very early on. And so,
did that help when you got into the studio to make this? I mean, that you had everything just kind of, you had things well in hand musically, so you didn't really have to figure things out in the studio?
I think it was a mix, to be honest, because when you're in the early days of playing in a band, you're overcoming bad sound systems, you're overcoming crowds who've never heard you before, you're trying to make something that's transcendent. And so I was reflecting on this the other day. I'm extremely proud of the album that we made, and I think that it does really reflect the first 3 years that we've been a band. But I think that I think as we grow as a band, we're going to get more nuanced, we're going to get more dynamic, because I think we've just been trying to muscle our way through these early years, and a lot of that just comes with brute energy and brute and the force of the songwriting. I think that we're going to try to just increase over time the level of dynamism and finesse that we bring to what we're doing.